Welcome to the SADF Podcast, where we explore the intersections of democracy, development, and human rights across South Asia. I'm your host, Tapushkanti Bol, and today's episode is titled Between Belief and Belonging Minorities in Pakistan. In this episode, we delve into the complex and often precarious situation of religious and ethnic minorities in Pakistan, a country where questions of identity, faith, and citizenship are deeply intertwined. To help us unpack these issues, I am honored to be joined by Mr. Aftab Alexander Mughal, a seasoned journalist and human rights advocate. He is the editor of Minority Concerns Pakistan, a UK based organization that monitors and reports on the rights of religious minorities in Pakistan. With decades of experience in journalism and advocacy, Mr. Mughal brings a unique and deeply informed perspective to this conversation. Before we begin, I'd like to invite our listeners to check out the latest edition of South Asia This Week, SADF's newsletter published on our LinkedIn profile. This week's theme is Voices from the Margins of South Asia, which highlights stories and perspectives from communities often overlooked and unheard in mainstream discourse. It's a powerful complement to today's discussion, and we encourage you to read and share it. The link is provided below. Mr. Mughal, welcome to the podcast. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, let us start this conversation with, can you briefly describe your work with Minority Concern Pakistan and your focus on religious minorities?
Thank you very much. Actually, my journey started when I was very young and I had the experience of discrimination and troubles of religious minorities because I'm from the Christian faith. So I have the personal experience of those issues and the troubles. So then I started working as a journalist, writing for local newspapers, magazines. Especially, I started working with two main uh, current affair magazines, Herald and Newsline. And then I started working as executive secretary of the Justice and Peace Commission, which was the religious orders human rights arm of the Catholic Church in Pakistan. I served 14 years. And then, because of the situation, I moved to UK. When I came over here, when I encountered with different people, especially the local people, about Pakistani situation, about Pakistani minority situation, people didn't have any idea. They didn't know where is the Pakistan is because most of the people think about just India, and then they didn't know about Christians in Pakistan. And if they had some idea, they didn't know about their issues. So then, with my friends, we had a conversation with my friends here and back home, and we started Minority Concern Group, and we publish uh, quarterly Minority Concern Pakistan magazine. This is a digital magazine, and in 2023 we won an award from OIMC Geneva. Uh, Along that, we in 2020 we started weekly webinars on minority issues, and we invite people from different countries, mainly Pakistan, Hindus, Christians, Muslims, Ahmadis, and liberal Muslims, and sometimes religious leaders, media people, and we encourage people to talk about human dignity. And this is a process of dialogue, educating people, and part of our advocacy work. And the main our goal is to bring peace in Pakistan. So we are working for peace building between different communities. Our advocacy work, we publish reports and we share at different platforms. I can mention two main reports we contributed to: UPR 2023 and then APPG reports, which they published on different issues. So that's our work, and we are working with different uh, organizations. With our, we have a good network through our local uh, people who work on the ground, and we are able to contribute a little bit wherever we are.
Thank you. The Human Rights Focus Pakistan report highlights a sharp rise in victimization of minorities in 2025. What are the most alarming patterns you are observing?
The report is the reflection of ongoing situation in Pakistan. Because Pakistan is an ideological state. Constitution says Islam is the state religion, and then it has some historical and cultural background. Historically, Pakistan was made for Muslims of South Asia. So this discourse is still there, that majority of people think Pakistan is for Muslims. So we have the right to say everything, we have the right to decide everything. And when it comes to the religion, it shrinks the space for religious minorities, because you are under fear that if you are saying anything regarding the religion, though it's related to economics, politics, social order, whatever the situation is, not only the legal side, minorities are under stress because they have little voice. So that report reflects the same pattern. And also, there is an issue of mindset, because people think my minority doesn't say anything because this is our country and we have accepted them, that's enough. The third thing is, uh, the context of two major religious groups, Hindus and Christians. Generally, people think Hindus have some inclination or some connection with India, because they think India is a Hindu country, though that's a secular,
That's the
but
same thing in Bangladesh.
yes. And for Christians, because they think, generally speaking, they think Christianity is a westernized religion, so Christian has connections with Western. So they are not really loyal to Pakistan, to their own homeland. Minorities are just 5% of the total population of the country. Hindus are a little bit bigger, Christians are less than about 1.5%, and then there are some other minorities, Sikhs and Kailash and Buddhist, but they are very, very small minority. So that is the reflection of the same pattern which we have been seeing since the formation of Pakistan 1947.
Right. Thank you for identifying the patterns. Now, after reading that report, I have identified that there is overuse of blasphemy laws over the years. So, how do blasphemy laws still continue to affect religious minorities, especially Christians, Hindus, and Ahmadiyas in Pakistan?
Blasphemy laws are the reflection of the Pakistani situation, the social and the legal and the economic situation in the country. That's a reflection. The root causes are different. However, blasphemy law is one of the biggest issue for minorities in Pakistan, Hindus, Christians, and especially Ahmadis. We did a study in 1995 when I was working with Justice and Peace Commission, and we published a book. The book was published by the Justice and Peace Commission of the Catholic Bishops' Conference. It was another story how we were able to publish it. It was not possible. But according to that report, from 1947 till 1980s, there were only 7 cases of blasphemy. At that time, now Bangladesh, which is Bangladesh, it was East Pakistan. So
Right.
there were two countries. And in those two countries, there were only 7 cases reported. And those cases were reported under 29, 295 at 295A. There were two laws were already existed, and
Of the
these
penal
laws,
code, you mean?
yes, in penal code,
Mhm.
and these laws were applicable to any Pakistani, Muslim, Christian, Hindus, anyone who is hurting the religious feelings of any other person or the worship place or something, that law was applicable to anyone. But when General Ziaullah came, so there were two reasons. Number one, as a person, he was a very religious person in inverted commas. So that lead him to conservatism or fundamentalism. The other thing was that he needed some sort of support because he toppled down a very popular government of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto in 1977. So he needed some sort of, and Bhutto was very popular in those days. So he needed some support from some sectors of public, and that was the easiest way to target religious parties to please them. On their advice or on their demand, he then introduced so many Islamic laws in the country. Hudud ordinance, evidence, law, this and that. And then in 1982 and 1984, he introduced strict blasphemy laws from 295 to 298. There are, I think, seven different clauses. And there are two clauses directly target Ahmadis. But there are two very, very strong clauses, 295B and 295C. And these clauses are about if somebody is saying something against Islamic religion of Islam, Islamic personalities, their holy book, that person can be charged under these laws. But the problem is, these from 1947 till 1980s, 84 or 1982, 295 and 295A were all addressed to everyone. But when Ziaul Haq introduced these strict blasphemy laws, they were just protecting Islam. So it was
Or you
easy
can say he was using those sections for his political purpose.
gain, yes, political gain, and just
But but later on, the political parties which came into power after that, or military juntas coming into power after that, they also utilized these sections in their favor. Can I say that?
everybody tries to use. Everybody tries
Right.
to use. Wherever they gain something
Mhm.
socially, religiously, politically, they try to use it. All sort of things.
What role do local authorities and political figures play in either enabling or preventing these abuse? I mean, is there anything they are doing to protect the religious minorities?
We can divide these authorities into two parts: state institutions and politicians. When it comes to religion, everybody is under pressure because they face a lot of pressure from the local society and especially from the religious groups. Though religious groups don't have the vote power because the major political parties has the vote power, but they have the street power. These religious parties have the street power. So they are able to bring a lot of people on the streets. They can create chaos, they can put pressure, and they can have their own narrative which can be uh, they can use against any political or state institutions. There are some liberal political parties, they try to change the narrative, but obviously they have limited space. And obviously there are some political and pressure that they have to gain some political opportunity to attract their voters because the voters are Muslim. But at the moment, we can divide the political parties into three different groups. One is the religious groups, religious parties. One is in the center. They try to use their liberal face sometime and sometime religious face. So they play in between, wherever they gain some political gain. And the third one is the progressive parties. For instance, Pakistan People's Party of Benazir Bhutto. It's a liberal party. And then ANP, that party belongs to Abdul Ghaffur Khan, who was the one of the major players in one of the provinces. He has some connections with the Congress when there was a movement against British rule, so he was one of the powerful voice in those days. So ANP is his party. So these two parties are, there are some other regional parties who don't use religion as for their political gain. Regarding the state institutions, because most of the state institutions run by Muslims and they have some sort of political thoughts, and they are unable to protect minorities as they should. But sometimes there are individual politicians, individual local authorities who try to intervene timely to protect minorities, and whenever there is a possibility. But their number is not big.
There is a Human Rights Commission in Pakistan, and I have heard that the Supreme Court of Pakistan and the judiciary overall is playing a role. And how do you actually evaluate the role of both these institutions, Human Rights Commission of Pakistan and Pakistan judiciary, in protecting the rights of religious and ethnic minorities?
The Human Rights Commission of Pakistan was started by Asma Jahangir, one of our towering human rights defender. But she died, and we miss her because she was one of the biggest voice in the country. The Human Rights Commission of Pakistan is trying to record things and then trying to educate people on ground, and also they do some advocacy work with the state institutions, with politicians, and they bring many politicians and state and the people from the state institutions and religious leaders for dialogue. That's doing a great job. But at the same time, if we are talking about the judiciary, I just read few lines from the Human Rights Commission of Pakistan's latest report, and then it will reflect the true nature of the judiciary. The report says the judiciary was grappling with the public perception of being heavily polarized and either positioned in favor of the PTI or the establishment. So we can say judiciary's role is complex. It's mixed. For instance, I can give you an example about the blasphemy laws. When a person is caught under blasphemy laws, and obviously the first tier of judiciary is the local court. Local court never release a person. The case will go up, up, up. Sometimes high courts give relief. And in most of the cases, the relief comes from the Supreme Court. For instance, Asya Bibi, she spent about 9 years in jail,
Hmm.
and in 2018, she was released. But unfortunately, even the Supreme Court, if Supreme Court releases you, you can't stay in the country because in public eye, you are a blasphemer.
Yeah.
In public eye, you have no place to hide.
Yeah, I mean, in Bangladesh as well, when we are talking about blasphemy, like even just yesterday or day before yesterday, one old guy, was bitten in the northern side of Bangladesh. He is a hair artist and he is old. He is in dhutis. The mullahs are putting garland of shoes on him.
Oh,
And then his son tried to protect him, but then the mob beat them both. And
oh,
then luckily they didn't kill them. They handed over them. There is this school student in Bangladesh, like, Utsav Mandal. I don't know if you've heard
yeah.
about him. The mob took him. He was nearly, even the military recovered him. Then the military had to hand him over to the mob. The mob beat him up, and then somehow they recovered him, and he is alive till now, but we don't know his whereabouts. We are very concerned about his well being and things like that. So let me come to the next point, which is also common between both the countries, which is forced conversion.
Yeah.
The rate of forced conversion in Bangladesh is higher than any time. And I
Mhm.
don't know why, after the fall of last government, the rate has increased or the reporting of these kind of incidents increased. I don't know. But every day, at least 5 to 6 incidents are coming up onto my WhatsApp groups. So, what is the situation of forced conversion in India, in Pakistan?
At the moment, religious minorities are facing two major issues: blasphemy and forced conversion. In blasphemy, someone is blamed under blasphemy, not the only that person will be, not only his life is in danger, but the whole community. If you heard about different Christian localities, villages, the mob burned them all. The
There's
total
the
village was, yes,
same pattern in Bangladesh as well.
yes,
If one person says anything in a village, or
yes,
even there is a whim of it,
yes, yes,
they will burn and demolish and vandalize the whole village.
yes,
Girls and women will be raped. I
yes.
mean, you
Yeah.
just name it.
J- Just an allegation, just an allegation. And in the forced conversion issue, regarding one of the reports, Christian and Hindu girls, Christian in Punjab, because most of the Christians live in Punjab province, which is the biggest province, and Punjab is more conservative province. And then the Hindus live in Sindh province, mainly in rural Sindh. Uh, and Hindus are divided into upper class and lower class. And the lower class more is more under pressure. And according to that report, between year 12 to 25, sometime minor girls were kidnapped first. They kidnapped and then they forcefully converted to Islam. And then they are forcefully married to their kidnapper. And when it comes to the court asks for their birth certificate. These religious leaders, they don't accept those certificates. They
Yeah,
have their own,
same thing in Bangladesh.
yes, they have their own uh, viewpoint under the Islamic law that these certificates are not applicable, not accepted when it comes to the conversion issue. And every year, about 1,000 minor or other Christian and Hindu girls are kidnapped. And the first thing, there is no remedy. Number two, you can't go to the police. Police will not register your FIR. And then police will not go to find the girl because most of the time religious leaders are involved. The kidnapper will kidnap the girl, take to some religious leader, and the religious leaders will have a ceremony to convert that girl. And that girl, if
In Bangladesh, at least before 5th of August 2024, the police was a little bit helpful. They
Mhm,
understood the pain of the parents. In some
mhm,
cases, due to the involvement of the civil society and the religious leaders from Hindu, Buddhist, and Christian communities, the police, the local authority, was quite helpful in recovering a girl and putting them into some sort of safe custody. But now, as you said, I'm not going to name even the district
yeah,
because
yeah,
then it will create a problem
yeah,
for the
yeah,
victims. That in one of the courts,
yes,
when the lawyers presented the girl is minor, like probably
minor,
14.
yes,
The mob came with the religious leaders,
yes,
imams and mullahs, and they said that this girl is more than 18. So the
yes,
magistrate asked, "What is the evidence you have?" The imam just said, "My word is the evidence."
yes,
The mob.
yes, yes,
And
yes,
the court didn't have any option. The police didn't want to take any risk.
no, yes, definitely, definitely. They're not,
So there is a
yeah,
shift in Bangladesh right now as
mm,
well. I
mm,
mean, towards what you
they
were
are,
saying.
they're
Sounds
unable to
familiar.
confront those powerful actors.
Hmm. Especially
Okay.
non-state actors.
Yes, non-state actors, definitely. But there is some positive development because the civil society has been advocating that the age for a girl should be 18 years. And in one province, in Sindh province, the assembly has passed a law that no girl 18 years of age is marriage age. Now, in capital area in Islamabad, recently a law has been passed, 18 years of age, and now civil society is advocating in other provinces, especially in Punjab. Hopefully, this will bring some sort of change. This is a hopeful sign in that whole difficult situation.
So now let me get to the media and representation part. How are minority voices represented or silenced in Pakistani media? And what role does diaspora media play in shaping the narrative?
Let's start with Pakistani media. I may divide Pakistani media into two parts: English media and Urdu media, and then the regional media. In English media, sometimes you can find a story about minorities, positive or negative, some sort of. In Urdu media, because Urdu media is more conservative media, and Urdu media is the main media in Pakistan. Everybody reads Urdu newspapers. Urdu media is sort of, you may say, it has boycotted minorities. Only a news will come when there is any incident happen. Or obviously, it is twisted report. And during the Christmas time, there are some social events and then some state events. These events are reported in the news in the newspaper. In 2020, in June 2020, we surveyed the newspapers. We studied the newspaper, three major newspapers, front page and the last page, and we didn't find in 30 days not even a single story about minorities. Not even a single story. So media is not helpful in creating an environment where minorities feel safe. But English media, yes, and then obviously you have your own connections, your own, if you have some connection with your friends, they will try to publish some stories. At the same time, the media, our role is, the civil society role is to provide some material to to journalists. But obviously, the space is very limited. The room is very limited, and not even a single minority person is at the top level in the newsroom. Yes, there are a few journalists, but not at the top. Uh, Regarding the diaspora media, I think that people who come out, they have, the first struggle is to survive, to find their way out, how to live in this country and survive. They need some education, they need some jobs, but there are a couple of TV channels, but mainly they are reflecting on culture and religion. So, in that sense, the diaspora media is not, so far it's not powerful. We minority concern webinars which we run on Facebook, live Facebook, and we always get about 200-300 people. We record that program. First, it's online, live online on Facebook. Then we record it, and the next day we publish on our minority concern YouTube channel. And then that's a medium which we try to raise our voice for minority rights and religious freedom in Pakistan.
Right. That takes us to the part of recommendations. That what do you think that international organizations, international bodies, and local civil society can play to improve the situation for religious minorities and ethnic minorities in Pakistan?
I think the first major thing is that Pakistan must confess that every citizen is equal. Though the Constitution says, Article 20 and 25, about citizen rights, and religious freedom. But at the same time, Article 2 says Islam is state religion. And I think one article says that only a Muslim can be the president of the country. Only a Muslim can be prime minister of the country. So there are discrimination in the constitution. So Pakistan must follow the democratic path if Pakistan want to be a progressive country. I can give you one example of one of the countries in Latin America. That's name is Guyana. It's a very small country. There are Christians, Hindus, and Muslims. There are only 7% Muslims live in that country. But the president of the country is Muslim. Speaker of the National Assembly is Muslim. Their population is only 7%. And their per capita income 94,000 US dollars. So you can see if you are bringing people together, giving a sense of belonging, everybody will work together and Pakistan will grow. If their per capita income is 94,000 US dollars, Pakistan's per capita income is only $9,000. So you can see the difference. So,
Huge difference.
yes. So that's the first thing. Pakistan must uh, recognize that every Pakistani citizen has the equal rights. Second, wherever any discrimination on the basis of religion, caste, even gender, that should be criminalized. Nobody has right to malign anyone because of their background, religion, color, or their ethnicity. And the third thing I may say that Pakistani syllabus, which is also a biased syllabus because it says something against Hindus all the time, okay, and praises one religion. Even in if you study from year 1 to 5, all the books, science, a language book, Urdu, English, mathematics, any or the social studies, any book, you will find some religious material into it. So if a child, his upbringing is on that basis, she has that mindset, how you can think people can live in harmony and they work together.
Very bleak picture you have portrayed, Mr. Mughal. So we have come to the very end. So last question is that what can the listeners do to support minority rights in Pakistan? Any suggestion for the listeners?
I think the first thing is wherever they are, if they know about the situation, they must raise the voice. For instance, wherever they live, they can write a letter to their MPs. And my experiences in this country, though the MPs can't change the whole narrative in a day, but most of the European countries give uh, aid to aid to Pakistan for different projects. That aid should be connected with the human rights situation in the country. And then the trade. Pakistan, any underdeveloped country, needs a good trade with rich countries, especially the West. So these two things should be connected with the human rights situation. And the third thing I may say, whenever there is any issue arises in Pakistan regarding minority issues and when minorities face a big challenge, they can write a letter to the editor, their local newspapers. It will create an awareness and it will help the local politicians that they should intervene in some positive way. Once we had one camp rally or seminar before elections in the UK, and one of the organization they organized the event, and I was representing Christians, and they invited some local candidates for the MPs and councillors, and I was sitting on the stage with them. And the local MP, we were talking about the situation before the event started, and he said, "I'm always honest with the Pakistani government because I think I'm friend of Pakistan, and friend never say any lie to other friend. Friends speak truth, which helps. So I always say what I feel is right for Pakistani development."
Thank you, Mr. Mughal, for sharing your insights and experiences with us today. Your work continues to shed light on the challenges faced by Pakistan's minorities and the urgent need for justice, inclusion, and reform. For our listeners, if you'd like to learn more about Mr. Mughal's work, visit Minority Concern Pakistan online. We will include the links in the show notes. If you found this episode meaningful, please subscribe, share, and leave us a review. You can also follow SADF for more conversations on democracy, development, and human rights in South Asia. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged. Mr. Mughal, thank you very much. Hopefully, we will meet again in the future.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Have a good day.